right, baby. She wanna link, I'm only out here for the night, baby. From Puerto Rico, Casamigos with the Sprite, baby. She wanna fuck with the scammers, talk to me nice, baby. She hit the bottle and the hoe just wobble wobble. Just thought he fucking for a fight, the cobble wobble. African swing, he ain't spin, hit the throttle. She wanna fuck with the gangsters, talk to me nice, baby. Finish the bottle when I hope then she a model. She in the mirror like it's Showtime, the Apollo. Catch up the phone, now I pull up in the Tahoe. Thought it's boring, I ain't calling unless she swallow. She don't listen, I ain't tripping, she don't follow. Got another wetty swerving on the potholes. Got another thought, he thinks she hit the lotto. She pop a perky, then she chase it with Moscato. This bitch is bad, she fucking all the drug dealers. I took his bitch and then I took his plug, nigga. Have her back, I'm getting to the bag, nigga. Bust in your house, I'm running through your stash, nigga. On the grand flashing all that cash, nigga. Part in my back, I'm counting all these stacks, nigga. Gucci duffel Louis on my ass, nigga. Hennessy and TNT, we blast, nigga. Ferragamo on my chest, I'm looking right, baby. She wanna link, I'm only out here for the night, baby. From Puerto Rico, Casamigos with the Sprite, baby. She wanna fuck with the scammers, talk to me nice, baby. She hit the bottle and the hoe just wobble wobble. Just thought he fucking for a fight, the cobble wobble. African swing, he ain't spin, hit the throttle. She wanna fuck with the gangsters, talk to me nice, baby. This whole insect, she fucking on the damn crew. Coming out of sight, she lost her damn shoe. Her friend a poppin', she ain't got no damn clue. Rollin' O's and weed and smoking bamboo. Smoking gelato when the Tahoe smell the fucking jar. She wanna ride with me cause we look like some movie stars. This thotty moving faster than a speeding car. Coming through the door with no panties on. Poppin' Molly's and you know she took a Zanny bar. Talking about a Mazda is a family car. I hit her with a curve, then the coup de grace. Zillow games, I'm shaking up the dice, baby. She wanna stay with me so we can make the night, baby. She wanna be with me so I can lay the pipe, baby. I'm only out here for the night, baby. I'm only out here for the night, baby. Ferragamo on my chest, I'm looking right, baby. She wanna link, I'm only out here for the night, baby. From Puerto Rico, Casamigos with the Sprite, baby. She wanna fuck with the scammers, talk to me nice, baby. She hit the bottle and the hoe just wobble wobble. Just thought he fucking for a fight, the cobble wobble. African swing, he ain't spin, hit the throttle. She wanna fuck with the gangsters, talk to me nice, baby. Reppin' the road, foreign shotties with my name on their toes. These thotties acknowledge me, honestly, put the seat back in the Odyssey. Prodigy, little mama, wanna suck and to swallow me, watch ties. Welcome to the Check and Report, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, True and Livin', again on a live stream. No sound effects today. This is a somber show. I want to pay my respects to a hip-hop legend, a hip-hop pioneer, none other than Irv Gotti. It was reported today that Irv Gotti has passed away. First, I want to send condolences to the man's family, his friends, the people that love him, the people that cherish him. I want to pay condolences to them. I want to send prayers out to their families, to his family. It's sad, man. We're losing legends, man. We're losing legends. But, you know, Irv Gotti, man, we have a lot to unpack today. But, you know, let me just educate y'all, you know, on some things about Irv Gotti. This man is a legend. Make no mistake about it. This man is a legend. This man is instrumental, single-handedly instrumental for bringing New York hip-hop back where it deserved to be, And New York held that position for a very long time. This man is instrumental in the careers of Jay-Z, instrumental in the career of DMX, instrumental in the career of Ja Rule. And this man deserves the utmost respect. He deserves to be recognized. He deserves to be talked about. And we're going to be talking about it today. We're gonna have a bevy of things. You know, I see that a lot of celebrities are coming out and pouring their respects. And we're going to talk about 50 Cent. We're going to wait. I'm going to wait a while to talk about the 50 Cent. I have my thoughts on 50 Cent's post regarding Irv Gotti's passing away. We're going to get to that later because, you know, first, in this portion of the show, I want to just pay my respects
to Irv Gotti. Because a lot of people don't know what Irv Gotti was responsible for. I mean, this man, first of all, let's just start with Ja Rule. Say what you want about, Ja Rule and the 50 Cent thing and all the hoopla and the beef and the 50 Cent destroyed Ja Rule's career and yada, yada, yada. That's all fine and dandy. But Irv Gotti was instrumental in the career of Ja Rule. Ja Rule at one point was one of the biggest hip hop stars we've ever seen. We're talking about Hot 100 hits. We're talking about number one records, record breaking records. I'm Real. The records with Ashanti, Down for You. I mean, just record setting records. Jay-Z wasn't putting up those number one records like Ja Rule was. Respectfully, DMX was not putting up those number one records. They were selling, but they were not getting those Hot 100 records like Ja Rule. Ja Rule was crossing over. He was crossing over like Nelly was. He was crossing over like LL had did in his prime. Irv Gotti was the one who found the recipe. Irv Gotti was the one who was chopping it up in the studio, working with the right producers, getting Ja Rule in the studio with those right producers, getting Ashanti in that studio with those right producers, giving her the right vibe, giving her the right mode. This man is instrumental in creating those stars. Instrumental of creating those careers. And he created the formula for Murder Inc. to get that Hot 100, to get those Hot 100 records, to cross over, the records with J-Lo, the records with, everything, every little thing that we do. I mean, Ja Rule was running the radio. Make no mistake about it. He was running the radio. He was running Hot 100. He was running New York radio at that. So, we can't diminish the label Murder Inc. We can't diminish what Ja Rule and Irv Gotti was able to create, what they were able to facilitate, what they were able to accomplish, as two black men coming out of Queens. We have to tip our hat to that. I mean, nothing but the utmost respect. And they were trendsetters and they were record breakers. Like I said, there wasn't many hip hop artists that were getting those Hot 100 records outside of Nelly. Like I can name off the top of my head records at that time, the early 2000s that were, crossing over. I mean, Nelly, he caught a couple. Ja Rule, but I'm really like racking my brain. It wasn't a lot that were crossing over. Even Eminem didn't get a Hot 100 record at that point in time. He wasn't making those Hot 100 records. He was selling records, but he wasn't getting those Hot 100 records in those early 2000s. It was Ja Rule. It was Nelly. So make no mistake, Irv Gotti created the formula for the commercialization of hip hop, for hip hop to succeed, to hip hop to go to the next level, to get to the Hot 100s. He was the one who created the formula, instrumental in creating the formula for hip hop artists and hip hop acts to create the melodies to get over and cross over in the Hot 100. So put respect on Irv Gotti's name when it comes by way of Murder Inc. Put respect on Irv Gotti's name and Ja Rule for what they did with Murder Inc. Of course, we're gonna get to the whole 50 Cent, Irv Gotti, Ja Rule thing. We're gonna get to that later on, not now. But let's go into DMX. A lot of people don't know Irv Gotti is responsible for bringing DMX to Def Jam. A lot of people don't know that. Irv Gotti was the man who brought DMX to Def Jam, right? He was the one who brought DMX to Lyor Cohen. He was the one who was instrumental in bringing DMX. DMX who essentially changed the sound, the aesthetic of New York hip hop. A lot of people don't know. This is late 90s, right? This is 97, 98-ish, around that time. At this point, in particular time, I'm a hip hop historian. I know these things, right? I'm a hip hop historian, right? 90, 97, 98, and 97 and 98. We're coming off the heels of the death of Biggie Smalls, right? Diddy was running hip hop in 97, 98, right? He had Mace. He had put out No Way Out. He still had the Locks at that time. Diddy was running radio. He was running things. He was running radio, and everything was glossy. The shiny suits, the S curl hair or the waves, like Mace had. Everything was shiny. The shiny suits, the iced out the iced out Jesus pieces, the Rolex watches. Everything was glossy. Everything was shiny. Everything was jiggy. Everything was flossy. Right? This is New York hip hop in 97. Irv Gotti was the one to say, no, we are going to go totally antithetical to what Diddy and Bad Boy is doing. Bad Boy was implementing the flossier, the jigginess. Irv Gotti said, no. We're going to go totally antithetical. We're going to take it back to the streets. We're going to get a grimy Yonkers dude like DMX, and he's going to be the poster child. He's going to be the figurehead of this new movement, of this new era in New York hip hop. It was Irv Gotti who saw something in DMX. It was Irv Gotti who was the one who facilitated DMX going to Def Jam. It was Irv Gotti who was responsible for these records, for these early successes, for the early successes of Def Jam. It was a point in time where Def Jam was running hip hop. But Def Jam, of course things have changed. Def Jam is no longer the cat's meow. But Irv Gotti was the one who turned things around and brought DMX, who changed hip hop forever, who changed New York hip hop forever. Right? Single-handedly. Going number one. DMX went number one 2 times in 1 year. He essentially in 1 year became the hottest rapper in the game. Irv Gotti was the one who facilitated that. Irv Gotti was the one to bring DMX into Def Jam, facilitate that sound, change the sound of New York hip hop. Put some respect on this man. This man deserves to be respected, right? And then we go into Jay-Z. Let's talk about Jay-Z and what Irv Gotti did for Jay-Z. There was a record, right? Now, actually, let me go back. Let's go back. I'm telling stories here because some people don't know these stories. Some people aren't giving Irv Gotti his flowers. Some people aren't talking about these stories. Some people are just looking at Irv as just, he was just the manager for Ja Rule. He was just the dude who ran the label for Murder Inc. and he was the manager. No. Irv Gotti was way more bigger than that. We lost a New York hip hop pioneer. We lost someone who was instrumental in bringing New York hip hop back. Instrumental in giving New York back its sound, giving New York back its flair, instrumental in turning New York hip hop around and getting it back on the right track. Let's go back to Jay-Z. Now, there was a point in time in Jay-Z's career. I know how we look at him now. Billionaire Jay-Z, one of the greatest hip hop artists of all time, and how we look at Jay-Z now. Salute to Night Owl. We're talking about Irv Gotti today. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti. Salute to Night Owl. There was a point in time in Jay-Z's career where he wasn't necessarily selling. He wasn't getting the ear of the people. He came out with Reasonable Doubt. A classic album, but it didn't do what it needed to do commercially. It wasn't doing well commercially. But Def Jam decided to take a risk on him, right? They took a risk on him and they said, you know what? We're going to sign you. So they signed Jay-Z and he puts out Volume 1. Volume 1. Anybody know Volume 1? Jay-Z decided to go with, like I said, the Diddy sound, the Puff Daddy sound, rather. The more glossier Hitman sound. He decided to go that route in his music, right? And what essentially happened is he had another failure of an album. He had another album that essentially Def Jam looked at and said, you know, this is just another failure. You know, we just signed you from the Reasonable Doubt. You know, that album kind of flopped. And then, you know, we brought you here. You put out your first album here and it flops. You know, pretty much Jay-Z was in the water, dead and stinking. And there were two contributing factors that turned around the career of Jay-Z. Two records, essentially, that turned around the career of Jay-Z, Sean Carter. And it was 4-5 King. The 4-5 King. Look this up. The 4-5 King, who came to Jay-Z. Actually, Jay-Z was at a concert and 4-5 King played a record and it was the Annie sample. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. Essentially, Jay-Z heard that sample that the 4-5 King was playing and decided to grab that record up and put it out on his next album and his next release on Def Jam, right? So it was that record, and there was another record that Jay-Z had. Because, you know, that record, you know, it's a hard night. It's a cool record, but that's not a record for the clubs. That's not a record for that's a record for the streets, but that's not a record for the clubs. That's not a record for, you know, when you're on the way to the club getting jiggy. That wasn't the record. There was another record that Jay-Z went out to grab, and it was a record none other than Irv Gotti and Ja Rule. The name of the record is Can I Get Her? Can I Get a what? It was on the Rush Hour soundtrack. But essentially, Jay-Z went to Irv Gotti and Ja Rule and got that record. Now keep in mind, this is Jay-Z. This is who we consider the greatest rapper. This is who we consider the greatest businessman, the greatest rapper, right? He essentially goes to Irv Gotti and Ja Rule to get the sauce, to get the swag, to get a hit record from their camp. And that record goes on to turn around the career of Jay-Z. Jay-Z goes on to sell 5 million records with the sauce that the 4-5 King and Irv Gotti and Ja Rule created. Make no mistake about it. This man is instrumental in 3 of the greatest rappers' careers. Instrumental in turning New York hip hop around. So, you know, I just want people to put respect on the name of Irv Gotti. Night Owl says, what happened to him? He was, from what I'm hearing, Night Owl, he was dealing with complications from diabetes. He suffered a stroke. I believe maybe maybe like a week ago, or maybe a couple of days ago, he suffered a stroke. And I heard he was dealing with complications, from diabetes. And I believe he was in the hospital. For, from what I was hearing, life support. But that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it was dealing with complications from diabetes. He had suffered a stroke. And again, condolences to his family, man. Condolences. We lost a hip hop legend today. We lost someone who has done a lot for New York hip hop. We've lost someone who is should be respected, who should be commemorated. And you know, we're gonna get to 50 Cent at some point. I have to, but you know, we have to tell the stories. We have to pay the tribute first. You know, that's more important than the monkey stuff. Because, you know, I believe what 50 Cent is doing is monkey behavior, bro. He's acting like a monkey. You know, 50 Cent, like we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But again, respect to the family, man. Condolences to the family. Celebrities are paying respect. You see, Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is paying respects to Irv Gotti. He says, "Wow, rest in power, my brother. Your music and your legacy will never be forgotten. Irv, you have spread a lot of love and a lot of wisdom to everyone that you met. Rest up." Salute, salute. Jamie Foxx sending love and light and paying his respects to Irv Gotti. Kanye post up. Irv Gotti. Celebrities are coming out in doves. Russell Simmons. And if you don't know, Irv Gotti, he worked for Def Jam. He A&R'd for Def Jam. Essentially, that's another thing that people aren't talking about, that I haven't heard yet. Irv Gotti single-handedly turned around Def Jam. Def Jam, at a certain point, Def Jam was in the water, and they didn't know what to do. They wasn't turning around no artists. Nobody on the roster was selling. Irv Gotti went in there and he changed the culture. He changed the culture of what was going on in Def Jam. So salute to that. Uncle Rush, brothers and sisters, please don't let Irv Gotti go without acknowledging the tragedy of his death and of black men's and women's health in America. This talented, beautiful, happy, curious, enthusiastic spirit has left his body way too soon. I'm sure God will receive him with love and freedom. To the black men and women of America who still face this crisis, the epidemic of chronic diseases and illness are results of bad diet, dieting, and lack of self-care. FYI, they are poisoning you much faster than your white counterparts. Thankfully, there is wave amongst you. You are 3 times more likely to be vegan. You're 3 more times likely to be a vegan than your white counterparts. You are much more likely to use natural remedies than the rest of America. You are waking up, but not fast enough. Those of you who are taking direction from the great nutritionists like Dr. Sabies, you're walking away from the group of chronic sicknesses. Help your brothers and your sisters to take the same route that you are on. Rest in power. You're such a beautiful soul. Gone too soon. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti, and salute to Russell Simmons for sending that out to him. Yeah, we got other people. Lance Gross sending out. Just want to show the people the different celebrities that are coming out, sending their respects. Tyron Turner. Just different celebrities paying their respects. Mark Lamont Hill. Yeah, man. Listen, man. What Russell Simmons is saying is true. Health in the black community needs to be a priority. I've been saying this for years, man. When you look at the black community, it's almost set up to keep you unhealthy, and Irv Gotti, he's a rich man, but I'm sure he comes from a neighborhood that taught him bad eating habits. I'm sure he grew up in Queens. He grew up around a bunch of bodegas, a bunch of fast food restaurants, and these are probably habits that he kept in his life. And with all due respect, it's just sad, man. It really is sad. It really is. And I've been saying this for years that when you look at the black community, just the way it's set up in terms of the things we have in our community. Think about it. In all of our black communities, we don't have health and wellness centers, meaning places for you to come in and work out, get your health together, get your body together, a treadmill, a facility for you to work on your health. Where are the gyms and the health facilities in our neighborhoods? Think about it. When you look at any black community, you're gonna find what? You're gonna find a liquor store. You're gonna find a black church. You're gonna find a Planned Parenthood, but you're not gonna see a hospital. You're not gonna see a gym. You're not gonna see health food spots. You're not gonna see things in our black neighborhoods that are, there to help us live. Look at the black communities around, around America. Where are the black communities that have these places, that have the gyms, that have the health food spots, that have places for, to get your body right, get your mental health together? They're poisoning us in our neighborhood. They put, the liquor stores, the Planned Parenthoods, the McDonald's, the Popeyes, the Burger Kings, and I believe that's probably what Rush was trying to get at. I think that's the message that Rush was trying to. I'm just piggybacking on what Rush was saying. But it's real, man. When you look at the black community, I've been saying this for a very long time. And that's been my gripe with a lot of these Democrats. When you look at these Democrats, like, what are they really doing? What are they really doing for our communities? They're not fixing up our communities. They're not changing the state in our communities. They're not making our communities more affluent. They're not putting any money back into our communities. What are the Democrats really doing for our communities? Why haven't, for all the years that we have been putting money into the Democratic campaign, the Democratic machine, why have they not fixed up our communities? Why have they not built gyms in our community to keep us healthy? Why have they not put more health-oriented, businesses in our communities to keep us healthy? Why do these Democratic mayors, these Democratic governors, why do they keep putting liquor stores in our communities? Why do they keep putting another McDonald's in our community? We already got a McDonald's. We got a McDonald's. We got a Burger King. We got a Popeyes. But we don't have a gym. We don't have a juice bar. We don't have a salad bar. So, these are things I've been saying these things for a long time. Yeah, man, but it's real. What Uncle Rush was saying, man, what Russell Simmons was saying is real. Yeah, but it's something to think about, bro. But those were the celebrities that were paying respects. Yeah, man, at the age of 54, man, that's very young. 54, that's pretty young, man. That's young. That's kind of young, man. Yeah, people are paying respects. But in terms of, I want to get to Def Jam's. Def Jam also sent out something. I want to read Def Jam because he's done a lot for Def Jam. I want to get to Def Jam's. I believe they put out something. Here we go. Yeah, Def Jam, they put out this statement. Def Jam recordings and the extended Def Jam family of artists, executives, and employees are deeply saddened at the loss of Irv Gotti. His contributions at Def Jam as both A&R executive and in partnership with Murder Inc. helped pave the way for the next generation of artists and producers. A force that reshaped the sound of hip-hop and R&B. His creative genius and unwavering dedication to the culture birthed countless hits, defining an era of music that continues to resonate with his fans worldwide. Our thoughts are with his family, friends, and all of those who were touched by his work. Salute to Def Jam for putting out this statement. Now, I do have a little bit of a gripe with Def Jam because if anybody knows anything about the case, the Murder Inc. See if I can find it. Murder Inc. versus USA. Yeah, when essentially Murder Inc. the label went up against Murder Inc. the label went up against Murder Inc. Records. Hold on, y'all. When Murder Inc. Records went up against the federal government, Def Jam did turn their backs on Murder Inc. They did turn their backs on them. Murder Inc. faced legal issues with the U.S. government, including a federal raid in 2003 and charges of money laundering. The label was linked to accused drug lord Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Around that time, Def Jam had turned their backs essentially on Murder Inc. Now, Def Jam was really trying to save face because essentially from what I'm hearing, what I've heard, stories that I've heard from the past, the feds had told Def Jam, well, if you give Murder Inc. Records any money, we're going to put you in the RICO, right? Because there was a RICO charges against Murder Inc., the label. And essentially Def Jam turned their backs. They could not put out any new albums, new records. They could not allocate any money to Murder Inc. Murder Inc. was making a lot of money. A lot of people, that's another thing. A lot of people, and we're gonna get to 50 Cent at some point. A lot of people, when they look back at that era of 50 Cent, salute to FBA Hustle. See you in the building. Salute to you, sir. A lot of people, when they look back at that era, though, of 50 Cent and Ja Rule, and a lot of people say, well, 50 Cent, he killed that Murder Inc. He killed the label. He murdered Ja. He killed his career and yada yada yada. A lot of people don't look at what happened in retrospect. They don't look back. They don't want to tell the whole story. When 50 Cent and Ja Rule was having their issues and having their little war, you got to think this is 2003. Look, 2003. Remember, federal raid in 2003. Who had a number one album? Who had the number one selling album in 2003? Hold on, we're gonna look at this up. Who had the biggest selling album in 2003, right? 2003. 50 Cent. Look. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying was the best-selling album of 2003, selling 6.5 million copies that year alone, right? So essentially, 50 Cent is this is his debut album. He's blowing up. In the state of the music industry. Of course, there were records on, mixtapes and all this other stuff. But essentially, he's burgeoning as a superstar in hip hop. And Murder Inc. is dealing with a federal raid. They can't put out music. They can't allocate money to the label and allocate resources to fight this thing. So a lot of people don't tell the whole story on why Murder Inc. and why Ja Rule, why things went the way they went. They went on to fight this case for years. By the time that they had been done fighting this case, 50 Cent was already a superstar. He was on album 2, already did 1 million first week, already had a million, millions and millions of albums sold, already shifted the narrative that he was the superstar and Ja Rule was a thing of the past. Let's be clear here. People don't tell the whole story. Murder Inc., it wasn't that 50 Cent was just this incredible force of nature that got Ja Rule up out of here. Murder Inc. was stifled. Murder Inc. was stopped by the feds. The feds told them, no, you cannot put out any more music. You will not be allocated any money. And we're gonna put your record label, Def Jam, we're gonna put Def Jam in this RICO if they put any money in your hand, if they help you. Because, they were trying to get Supreme McGriff. He had allegiance and he had ties to the Murder Inc. label. So, I do have a little bit of gripe with Def Jam because they did essentially turn their backs on Irv. When Irv needed the label the most, when Irv needed a helping hand the most. Salute to Abdur. Abdur's in the building. Salute to Abdur. Is Abdur? That is Abdur. Oh, Abdur, you changed your handle. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that's you, bro. Okay, so Abdur, your new handle is FBA Hustle. Okay, all right. Salute. I was wondering. I was like, yo, I've never seen that person, and they got a new handle. Okay, so that's Abdur. Okay, I didn't know who that was. Okay, that's Abdur. All right, salute Abdur. So you're FBA Hustle now. All right, salute. But yeah, I do have a little bit of an axe to grind with Def Jam because they did kind of turn their backs on Irv when they needed him when they needed the label the most. And they were doing that to essentially save themselves. They didn't want to be, they didn't want to be put in any type of federal RICO with Kenneth McGriff and Irv Gotti, Kenneth Supreme. Let's just put Supreme. Kenneth McGriff and Supreme. Yeah, they didn't want to be put into any type of federal RICO with, this is when the whole thing was going down. Federal charges. Yeah, man. You see DMX and Jay-Z instrumental in both careers. Yeah, man, but it's sad, man. It's really sad. But salute to Def Jam for sending this out. Now let's get to 50 Cent, man, because I have a lot to say about 50 Cent. Let's get to 50 Cent. Let's get to this monkey 50 Cent, man. This dude is a monkey,
take
bro.
care of your sophisticated
Dude is a clown, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I know a lot of people empower 50 Cent. A lot of people be thinking a lot of stuff he be doing is funny.
Beard butters,
but some things are just really distasteful.
Combs and different things to take care of
if there's one thing that we should respect, we should respect death.
Head over
we should respect death. When someone has passed along, when someone is no longer here, irregardless to you having beef with this person, irregardless to you having a issue with this person, and we're gonna get into the history of Irv Gotti, 50 Cent, and maybe why he feels like this. But if there's anything we should be respecting 50 Cent, we should be respecting death. So 50 Cent, he writes this post. He says, "I'm smoking on that Gotti pack. Nah, God bless him. LOL." And a lot of people are talking about this. I find it very distasteful. Very distasteful. 50 Cent, let it go, bro. I understand. Let's talk about the history. This is how the whole 50 Cent Irv Gotti thing happened. Her 50 Cent Supreme Irv Gotti thing happened. This is how it happened, right? A lot of people know the story. Essentially, 50 Cent is from the neighborhood of Southside Jamaica, Queens, right? And pretty much all of his big homies, whether it be Black Just, Chaz, all of his big homies were Supreme Team. These were the big homies of the neighborhood, right? These were the people that ran the neighborhood. These were the people that were respected, of that neighborhood. Supreme was, Supreme, Chaz, Black Just. All of these were the people that ran the neighborhood, that were respected in the neighborhood, right? So he comes from their cloth. He comes from their cloth. He comes up under them, really. And essentially, when 50 Cent began to rap, when 50 Cent started to get into the game, right? Supreme had got into the industry. He had got into the mix, right? And Supreme took a liking. He took a liking to Murder Inc. He took a liking to Ja Rule, took a liking to Irv. And he put his hands around them, meaning he pretty much supported them. He pretty much backed them, and 50 Cent felt the way. He felt the way that a big homie from his neighborhood, a big homie that comes up under him, is running around with these two dudes from Hollis, Queens. Ja Rule and Irv Gotti, they're not from Southside Jamaica, Queens. They're from Hollis, Queens. So essentially, 50 Cent feels a way that Supreme is putting his arms around and essentially protecting, safeguarding, and uplifting Murder Inc. 50 Cent feels like, Ja Rule is soft and Irv Gotti is soft and they from Hollis, Queens. And essentially, 50 Cent gets in his feelings and is jealous. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about what happened, what occurred. 50 Cent got jealous that Ja Rule and Irv Gotti got a cosign from the big homie Supreme in his neighborhood, right? So That goes into it, right? So as things progress, 50 Cent pretty much is jealous, envious of that whole relationship. We're gonna get into the story of the whole 50 Cent friend took Ja Rule's chain. That's already been debunked. Ja Rule knew the dude who stole his chain, right? Cause I'm just trying to give you, because there's two stories to where this started. There's the whole chain story, and then there's the Amazora story. Let's get into the Amazon. Let's do the chain story first, because the chain story goes into the Amazora story. And if you don't know what Amazora is a famous nightclub in Queens, New York. And all New Yorkers know that. You know, anybody from New York know about Amazora. Amazora has been around for years, for decades, really. But let's get into the chain story. So essentially, Ja Rule gets robbed from a dude that he knew, right? One of Supreme's little homies, right? Ja Rule gets robbed from a dude he knows, and Ja Rule gets the chain back, essentially. You know, Supreme made a call, he gets the chain back for Ja, right? Weeks later, 50 Cent is in the club with the dude who robbed Ja Rule, right? So I'm guessing that 50 Cent and the dude who robbed Ja Rule, they talk about the incident, they talk about what had happened. Ja Rule is in the Amazora nightclub. He sees 50 Cent, he sees the dude who robbed him, and essentially Ja Rule just looks at them. 50 Cent plays it up as, oh, he looked at us and he mean mugged me and it was smoke because he felt like I had something to do with him robbing his chain. Essentially, I don't believe that story. I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't believe that story. I believe what had happened, the dude who robbed Ja Rule for the chain, Ja Rule saw 50 Cent in the dude. He didn't want no smoke with the dude who robbed him. He looked at the two dudes. He went about his business. 50 Cent already with envy in his heart, 50 Cent with jealousy in his heart against Ja Rule, and having Supreme put his hands around him and support him. He gets jealous of that and turns that into a whole campaign of dissing Ja Rule and Murder Inc. That's a fact. Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the truth today. We're going to talk about the whole Ja Rule 50 Cent story. We're going to go into it, and we're going to talk about the real details. Oh, I went black. My fault, y'all. Did I go black on y'all? My fault. Hold on, y'all. I didn't know I went black on y'all. Give me 1 second. Did I go black on y'all? I shouldn't be black. Okay, I should be back on the screen. Am I black? I remember where I'm at in the story. I don't know why I went black on y'all. That's weird. Am I back, y'all? Let me see if I'm back on the screen, y'all. Am I back? Okay, I'm back. Okay, I see. I'm back. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I must have clicked the wrong button or something like that. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I think I'm back. Am I good, y'all? Let me know if I'm good. Am I good, y'all? I'm good. I'm looking at my phone on my screen. I remember where I'm at in the story. I see. It seemed like I'm good on my screen. Y'all still getting black? Smooth boy, you still getting black? Or is it still black on your screen? I think I clicked the wrong button. My fault. I must have clicked the wrong button. Yeah, we should be good. All right, let's get back into the story. So essentially, 50 Cent, with envious and jealousy in his heart, decides to turn that little that little moment into a whole campaign of dissing and coming at Ja Rule, right? And essentially there was another moment where he seen Murder Inc. making a video outside in Queens, and essentially Supreme stopped them. But that's where it started. It was the chain situation, the Amazora situation, and there was another little moment where Murder Inc. was shooting a video in Queens, and there was a little situation there where Murder Inc. didn't show him any love. That's where the beef starts, right? That's essentially where the beef starts. 50 Cent gets jealous that Supreme is putting his hands in supporting Murder Inc., right? So 50 Cent goes into a whole campaign of dissing Murder Inc. Murder Inc. acknowledges it. They start seeing it. Essentially, Supreme and some of the OGs of Supreme team, they try to mend the fences, bring the two together. In a concert back in the day, they try to all come together and squash this beef. It goes terribly wrong. Ja Rule gets into a fight with 50 Cent. They fight. 50 Cent punches Ja Rule in the face, and they want to get into a fight. And then that escalates into a situation. Essentially, another situation happened. There was allegedly a meeting where Chaz, Supreme, and a bunch of Supreme team dudes were all supposed to sit down with 50 Cent and squash the beef. 50 Cent never shows up to the meeting. Right? So this is all the things that happen that goes into that culminates into the issue and culminates into the to the point where 50 Cent gets shot 9 times, right? So these are all of the background things. I'm just bringing you up into the book because you know the story after that. 50 Cent gets shot 9 times. He goes on this incredible mixtape run, and he becomes a hip hop superstar. But that is the background to the story. The core root of this story is that 50 Cent was jealous and envious of Ja Rule and Murder Inc. getting this cosign and respect of Supreme McGriff. Now, if 50 Cent believes that Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, Murder Inc., and essentially Supreme have something to do with his shooting, you know, if he believes that, you know, and I'm not saying that that's not true. That maybe that is true. Maybe they all have something to do with that shooting. I'm sure 50 Cent believes that in his heart of hearts. He believes that Irv Gotti, Supreme. I believe he believes Supreme is pretty much the figurehead, but you know, Murder Inc. is the core root on why it happened. So maybe that's why he feels like that. They tried to unalive him. And you know, listen, man. You know, I just feel like, you know, if there's one thing we should respect, like I said, you know, we should respect death. You know, Irv Gotti, you know, as much as 50 Cent doesn't respect or he hates Irv Gotti, Irv Gotti is a loved individual. He deserves to be respected. And, you know, I felt like what 50 Cent posted, I just think this was poor taste. You know, this is poor taste. You know, Irv Gotti deserves to be respected. You know, you're talking about smoking on a Gotti pack. I mean, come on, 50. The man has passed away today. Like, where's your? Have some respect. And I understand. I heard Whack 100 talking about it a little bit. Whack 100 was talking about how, you know, he believes 50 Cent, like essentially what I said. You know, 50 Cent believes that Irv Gotti and Supreme are the core root on why he almost got unalived, why he ultimately got shot 9 times. But I just feel like 50 Cent, listen, man, it's 25 years later. You're a millionaire. You know, let it go. Like, honestly, it's just time to let it go. Kenneth Supreme McGriff, how much time does Supreme McGriff get? Anybody know? How much time does Supreme have? Supreme is in, I'm sure he's in the feds right now. Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Yeah, what's his release date? Kenneth, what's his what's his release? I'm sure, you know, he got charged with the Jam Master Jay and a couple of other bodies. I think hold on, give me 1 second. I know E-Money Bags, Jam Master Jay. It's a couple of things he was involved in. Kenneth McGriff, how much time did he get? How much time did he get? What did he get? Oh, he got life in prison. Okay. On February 9th, 2007, Griff was sentenced to life in prison Wow. So he got life in prison in a federal. He's in ADX, Florence. Okay. So essentially, Supreme is in jail for the rest of his life. Irv Gotti has transitioned. 50 Cent, let it go, bro. Let it go. I mean, I just feel like it's very distasteful. I understand you hate the guy. I understand that you feel he's responsible for you getting shot. I understand that. But like I said, I think if there's anything that should be respected, it should be, people, it should be death. You know? We don't want to see you online trolling, talking about a Gotti pack. It's not funny. You putting LOL at the end of it doesn't make it funny, doesn't make it tasteful, doesn't make it right. You just come off looking like a monkey. You come off looking like a person with no compassion, with being inconsiderate. It's totally a bad look for how the youth should deal with these issues. It's a bad look for how the youth should, because, listen, I kick in the back of Jim Jones. I talk about Jim Jones, still, trying to, show this gangster lifestyle. Anybody saw the, see if I could pull it up. Jim Jones out in Compton. What was he doing out there? Let me see. Just to go to that point, Capo. Jim Jones out in Compton. Jim Jones is 50 years old, still doing hood politics. Let me just show y'all what I'm talking about here. Still with the hood politics.
Video, ain't nobody want to come outside. They said, you got to speak to this guy right here. I don't know what you talk about, blood. I don't know about no video, no nothing. They said, you got to speak to Wacko. I said, who? They said, nah, everybody said, you got to speak to Wacko. You heard?
I ain't gonna tell you nothing but the real, homie. That's what that is. Straight up copy, though.
Still speaking to Wacko. You heard?
That boy.
What's up?
Essentially, Jim Jones still checking in to the hood. Like 50, Jim Jones, you're 50 years old. And this is what I'm talking about, even with 50 Cent. You guys, people look up to Jim Jones, like young men, right? They look up to Jim Jones, they look up to 50 Cent. And I feel like, some of these guys are just bad examples on how you should move forward in life and how you should evolve in life. Jim Jones, at 50 years old, you should not be checking in to Compton. You should not be checking into Compton, bro. You should be business oriented, getting. I'm not saying you're not getting your money, but you should be business oriented. You should not be checking in nowhere. You should be checking in and paying half price for a movie because you need the senior citizen discount. You should be somewhere with your grandkids, chilling with them. Maybe you're on a vacation with your grandkids. You should be showing the youth how to grow up, how to be men, how to evolve, how to move in that next phase of life. You should not be showing the youth that you're checking in at 50 years old, Jim Jones. And it goes, and let me not just kick in the back of Jim, because this is about 50, and I could correlate that to 50 Cent. 50 Cent, you are 50 years old yourself. You should not be showing the youth, this is how you deal with death. This is how you deal with when one of your enemies is gone. You should show the youth how to let things go. This person has died. Let's pay respects. I know I had issues. I know I had beef, but respect to that man, condolences to that man. If there's one thing we should respect, it should be death. 50 Cent, I just felt like this was very, very distasteful. And like I said, you putting LOL at the end of it, it's still in bad taste. You still look like a doof. You still look like a monkey. You still look corny for doing this. LOL is not gonna make it tasteful. LOL is not gonna make it. And the people in your comment section, they're goofballs and they're doofs too. Well, thinking it's funny, thinking it's comical. The man is gone. The man's family who have nothing to do with you getting shot, have nothing to do with Supreme or Griff. have nothing to do with Murder Inc. I'm talking about the man's kids. They got nothing to do with you getting shot. They got nothing to do with, you know, his extended family. They got nothing to do with you getting shot. You can't just have the respect to just say, you know what, condolences to that man. And you said God bless at the end, which is cool. But it's just like, why even make the joke about the Gotti pack? I mean, come on, 50. You look like a doof. You know, and I understand this is the mentality of the neighborhood. This is the mentality of the streets. This is the mentality of where you're from. I get it. Listen, 50, I understand what you're trying to the image you're trying to uphold. And let's be clear. 50 Cent, you was not on timing with Murder Inc. all the time, because there's the story of you being on. Let me see if I can pull that up. There's the story of you being on a plane with Ja Rule, and neither one of you did anything. Let's see if I can pull that up. 50 talks about being on plane with Ja. Let's see if I can pull that up. Yeah, 50 Cent was on a plane with Ja Rule. So let's stop acting like you was always on time with Murder Inc. You was not on time. It was times where you saw them and there was no smoke. Let's play
on
that.
The plane, did you and Ja Rule, did y'all have any words like, hey, how you doing?
I knew he was there before I got there.
On the plane?
Yeah.
Man, so do y'all see each other?
No, like I saw him. Yeah, we sat right in first class. Like he sat on the other side, like by the window. I sat down and I kept getting up and moving around and things.
Seeing if anything would happen.
No, just making him uncomfortable because I.
Yeah, like stop acting 50 Cent like you had issues with what's it called all the time. Like, you know, there was times where you saw them and you wasn't really on it like that. You didn't have no smoke for them. And I just feel like 50, this was just very distasteful. Very distasteful, you know? And listen, like I said, I understand the mentality and all that, but I just feel like if there's one thing that we should respect, it should be death. You know? Like I said, you know, the family has nothing to do with this. What does the family that is mourning Irv Gotti, what do they have to do with your issue? What do they have to do with you know? And 50 Cent has had this cold streak of just, you know, having no humanity, even like when it comes to his son, 50 Cent's son. Like, and don't get me wrong, do I think that Marquise is wrong? We're veering off into Marquise and 50 Cent. Do I think that, you know, Marquise, just talking about 50 Cent and his son Marquise, do I think that Marquise is wrong in some of the things that how he handled dealing with his father? Absolutely. Do I think that Marquise is a little disillusioned? Could he have been, how about this? Could he have been mentally poisoned by his single mother? Absolutely. But I do think that 50 Cent is a little cold-hearted. This is your son, 50 Cent. Why have you not mend fences with your son? 50 Cent, you're older than this man. This is not your brother. This is not, salute to Jadero. I saw you call Jadero. Salute to you. I'm on live, so that's why I didn't pick up. Yeah, salute to Jadero though. But 50 Cent, this is your son here. You couldn't mend fences with your son. You couldn't, make things. I understand you beefing with all these other rappers and entertainers and this, that, and the third. And we're gonna get to Little Meech too. We're gonna get to the Little Meech situation too. But I would think if there's, and this goes into 50 Cent's cold streak and his just having no humanity, right? This is your own flesh and blood, 50. This is not some little nigga from the hood that you uplifted or some little nigga you put crack in his hand and told him to get on the block. This is not, one of your little friends that you grew up with like Tony Yayo or Uncle Murder. This is your flesh and blood, 50. You couldn't come to him. Now remember, 50, you're older than this man. You're older than this young man. This is your own flesh and blood. You couldn't come to this young man and come to a resolution. You couldn't come to this young man and have a talk with him in person, not on the phone, in person, and mend those fences, make things right. You have to drag him through the mud, talk about you'd rather take 6ix9ine back than him. I mean, 50 Cent, you could look at the Irv Gotti thing, how he's handling the whole Irv Gotti thing, and say, yo, this dude is like really bugged out. But then when you really look at other situations, because some people think the Irv Gotti thing is funny. I don't think it's funny. I think 50 Cent looks like a doof for talking about Irv Gotti like that, right? But when you look at some of his past relationships, you start to realize like this dude really has no humanity, right? And I understand he's big on loyalty. He's big on, people respecting him and loyalty and all this other stuff. But 50 Cent, if there's one person that you should have a little humanity towards and have a little understanding to the situation, understanding that his mother possibly poisoned his mind into thinking he was entitled to something, poisoned his mind into thinking his father should be doing this or that, poisoned his mind. And 50 Cent, I believe that. I believe that I believe that Marquise was poisoned. His mom poisoned his mind. I believe that. I honestly believe that his single mother poisoned his mind into thinking a lot of things that he thinks about 50 Cent. But that doesn't excuse the way you have been handling the situation with your son. This is your flesh and blood. Why you can't make things right? Why you can't sit down and have a talk with him? Why are you clowning him on the Instagrams and the social medias? Why can't you sit down and talk to this man? Like on some real stuff. So it goes into the, 50 Cent, because a lot of people enable 50 Cent. They go on his posts. They laugh at the situation. They laugh. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Oh, look at him making fun of this. And they don't really look at the doof behavior. They don't look at the goofy behavior. Absolutely, Jadero. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti. Irv Gotti, hip hop legend all the way. We talked at length about the Irv Gotti. I wanted to get to the Irv Gotti history first. We talked about the I know you came in just now, but we talked at length about all of the great things Irv Gotti did. I gave him great respect on pretty much changing the course of New York hip hop, discovering DMX, assisting and helping the career of Jay-Z. Ultimately building Murder Inc., all the great contributions he did for Def Jam, and essentially just turning around New York hip hop. New York hip hop is in debt to Irv Gotti. He did a lot. Irv Gotti did a lot in changing the sound of New York hip hop and bringing New York hip hop back to prominence. That's a fact. But going back to 50 Cent, I just feel like there's a lot of people enabling him, enabling that behavior. And a lot of people feel like he's he can't be canceled or whatever. He said that before. And I just felt like this was very distasteful. And then let's get into the Little Meech thing. Now I'm gonna tell you guys about the thing about the Little Meech, because the Little Meech situation rubs me the wrong way as well. Now, if you don't know anything about the Little Meech situation, Little Meech is Big Meech's son, right? So Little Meech is Big Meech's son. And essentially 50 Cent got the rights from one of Big Meech's side chicks. I think her name is Tommy Cohen. I think that's her name. A beautiful woman, by the way. Y'all seen Tommy Cohen? The woman, one of Big Meech's side chicks. She looks good for her age. She was messing with Big Meech back in the early 2000s. She looks good for her age, man. She got to be at least in her maybe mid 40s, maybe late 40s. She looks good for her age, man. A young man, one of them young trappers. I'm sure he would be in her DMs. She looked good for her age. Salute to her, man. But essentially, let's get back to the Little Meech situation. So essentially, with the Little Meech situation, Little Meech is Big Meech's son, right? So, Little Meech, 50 Cent, he gets the rights to the BMF story, and essentially, while these things were in production, these things were beginning to happen. He reaches out to Little Meech and essentially pays for Little Meech to get acting lessons. A lot of people don't know that. 50 Cent paid for Little Meech to get acting lessons. Paid for this man. So essentially, he did a lot for Little Meech, because Little Meech talked about how he was in a really bad place in his life, and he didn't necessarily know what he wanted to do with the rest of his life, and things of that nature. And this whole BMF thing happened. BMF, the series. And essentially 50 Cent gave him an opportunity. He said, listen, man, I'll give you the opportunity to try out for the part. I pay for your acting lessons, and essentially, if you get the part, you get the part. I pay for the lessons and whatnot. So essentially, 50 Cent has done a lot for Little Meech, and Little Meech has been loyal to him, right? Well, Big Meech has recently, now this is after Little Meech and 50 Cent have worked together on the BMF series, but essentially, after a couple of seasons of successful seasons of BMF, Big Meech is finally out now. So let's go to that. Rick Ross. Just want to get to that. Rich Forever, right? Let's get to that. Big Meech is finally out, and Big Meech is doing a show with Rick Ross. Here goes the clip.
Ross, Ricky Rose, the time has come. Meech on February 13th. Get your tickets right now. It's going down. We know Florida gonna be there. Miami gonna be there. The legend himself gonna be in the building, making history. Meech, who else coming?
The whole nation. Detroit, St. Louis, California, everybody. Atlanta, Georgia, ATL, stand up.
Woo. We gonna make history. Get your tickets right now. Y'all better be there February.
So essentially, Big Meech does a video with Rick Ross, pretty much 50 Cent's arch nemesis. 50 Cent and Rick Ross, they've been in a beef for as long as I can remember. I think I was in high school when this beef started. Would that be correct, Gennaro? Wasn't we in high school when they beefed? It had to be 06, right? Wasn't it it had to be 06 or 07 they started beefing? Had to be 06 or 07. No. I'm bugging. It wasn't 06, because that was around Curtis. So it was after Curtis. Okay. So yeah, it was like 2009, maybe 2008, 2009-ish. They've been beefing for a long time. But essentially, 50 Cent feels away because Big Meech is running around with Rick Ross. And Rick Ross knew what he was doing. Rick Ross knew 50 Cent had this whole BMF thing going on, and he's empowering BMF and Big Meech. And Rick Ross wanted to slight 50 Cent and look at look, I got the big homie hanging out with me. So 50 Cent feels away. He feels away about Big Meech. And, when he feels like someone's been unloyal to him, when he feels like someone has kind of betrayed him, he kind of cuts ties. He's cut ties with people because he feels like, Big Meech is unloyal and is a clown for hanging around with Rick Ross. And he's ultimately cut off the son. He's cut off the son now. Little Meech, a dude who's been loyal to him. He posted this today. He said, this is what Little Meech wrote to 50 Cent. He says, they just told me you unfollowed me off Instagram. And now you managing Skilla Baby. Shout out to Skilla Baby. With Rocket when I brought him around you first. When you didn't have a clue who he was. Now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you? I can't believe this, man. You act as if I'm your enemy. I've only showed you love and loyalty, inhuman. I go through my own ish, but I never switched up on you. F Ross, but he gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts. The internet ish is throwing me off, man. You know me in real life. So essentially, it sounds like Little Meech is hurt. it sounds like Little Meech is hurt from the situation. And 50 Cent pretty much put, what season, little nigga? So pretty much, essentially, he's like backing away from this nigga. He's like saying, yo, man, I don't rock with your father. I don't rock. Jadero says freshman college time. Yeah, it was definitely around that time. But yeah, man, like, essentially, he's backed away from Little Meech. She's like, yo, I don't want to be around this little nigga. I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting your father off. And it just goes into what I'm saying. Like, where's the humanity? Where's the understanding to the situation, 50 Cent? 50 Cent, this is the man's father. I understand you feel like he should be loyal to you. You feel like he should be respectful to you. You feel like, yo, I gave him this opportunity. I gave him this. This is the man's father. He can't support his father getting a bag, whether it be from 50 Cent or whether it be from Rick Ross, just to pay his bills. 50 Cent has gone on a whole tour now of essentially he's trying to expose Big Meech for ratting, which I have my thoughts about Big Meech being a rat. And I have my thoughts about this. Actually, let me get into that because I have to get into that real quick. And this is a Irv Gotti. You know, this is really all about Irv Gotti. But I do want to talk about this Big Meech show situation. I have to talk about this thing. Because what Wax said, I agree. Wax said pretty much we should not be celebrating any drug dealers, and I agree with what Wax is saying. There should not be no Big Meech celebration show. There should not be no Big Meech we should not be welcoming him home. He should not be commemorated. He should not be respected. He should not be looked at as a hero. Big Meech is a drug dealer. He sold drugs to single mothers on Section 8. He sold drugs to kids that were strung out. He didn't care if they OD'd in a park. This is not a man that should be respected. And anybody on this bill, whether you're Boosie, whether you're Sexy Red, whether you're 21 Savage, whether you're Rick Ross, whether you're Little Baby, you know, whoever you are on this bill, you are a coon for coming out and supporting this whole goofy show. Saying we're going to, Big Meech is back. Big Meech is back. What has Big Meech done for the hood? Besides being a club and hand out Cristal bottles. What has he done for the hood? Has he wrote his wrongs? Has he wrote his wrong? Has he apologized for all the single mothers he got strung out on drugs? Has he apologized for all the junkies that he created? Has he apologized for all the rehab centers he had to fill up of people that got strung out on his drugs? Has he apologized for the people who have OD'd, people who have lost family members? Has he apologized? Why in the hell are you throwing a free Big Meech concert? Who the hell is he to be respected? Who the hell is he to be commemorated, to get a free? I mean, come on. It's pure and utter nonsense. It's pure and utter goofiness, you know? So I just want to talk about that because I had my thoughts on that. But going back to 50 Cent, you know, I just want to know, where's the humanity? Where's the humanity, 50 Cent? I don't like the fact that, like I said, you know, I understand the mentality. I understand you feel like Irv Gotti had something to do with you being shot. Clearly he had something to do with you being stabbed, because 50 Cent, and that's another thing that people don't realize about the whole Irv Gotti 50 Cent. 50 Cent was a victim. That's another. We're gonna tell the truth today when we look back at these stories. Because when I was a young man, salute to Sinclair. I see Sinclair's in the building. What's up, Sinclair? When I was a young man, I really thought that 50 Cent was the most gangster nigga gangster nigga on in the rap industry. I really thought that 50 Cent was the most gangster dude on the planet. But when you really look back in hindsight, he was a victim. 50 Cent was a victim. He was a victim. Can we really go down the list of how many times he was a victim? Respectfully, and I'm not saying that makes him soft. I'm not saying that makes him weak. I'm not saying that was that makes him like soft or anything like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying that when we because we look back at the whole 50 Cent Murder Inc. thing and we say, oh, 50 Cent, oh, he packed up Murder Inc. He got Murder Inc. up out of here. He smashed them. But when you really look back at it, Murder Inc. was terrorizing this dude. Honestly, from getting stabbed in the studio, getting shot outside his I think it was his grandmother's house, getting hit upside the head with a bat when he punched Ja Rule, to getting blackballed by the Murder. He was being terrorized. And let's be honest about another thing. Because people don't want to tell the truth about 50 Cent. Let's tell the truth today. Because I don't like how 50 Cent conducted himself today. I think he's a doof for what he did and what he said about Irv Gotti today. So we're gonna tell the truth today. Because I've been wanting to ask this question for a very long time. Why does everybody that 50 Cent beefs with go to federal prison? Why? Can anybody answer that for me? Why does everybody that 50 Cent has beef with go to federal prison? Let's go down the list. Y'all want to go down the list? Let's go down the list. Because, 50 Cent, since you want to act like a doof, 50 Cent, we're going to look into you. You want to talk about Big Meech's paperwork and yada, yada. Let's look into 50 Cent. Because you've beefed with a lot of people that they keep getting wrapped up. Supreme McGriff was chasing you out of the industry. He's in federal prison for putting hands on you. He's in federal prison. Why does everybody you beef with 50 Cent go to federal prison? Let's go to somebody else. Who else did you beef with? How about this? Jimmy Henchman. Jimmy Henchman was running down on you. Jimmy Henchman had beef with you. Jimmy Henchman had issues with you. Jimmy Henchman wasn't feeling you. He's in federal prison. 50 Cent, why does everybody you have beef with? And I'm not saying that these dudes ain't dirty. I'm not saying that these dudes wasn't vicious. I'm not saying that these dudes didn't have a level of pedigree in the streets before 50 Cent. But I'm just asking the question, why does everybody beefs with you or that you have an issue with? You know who I'm getting to next. We got one more person to talk about. Why does everybody that beef with you go to federal prison? Why do the feds keep looking into these people that beef with you? How about this? This is my last one. How about this? Diddy. It's been well documented that you don't like Diddy, that you don't care for Diddy. It's been well documented that you don't like Diddy. Why does everybody you have beef with 50 Cent go to federal prison? I'm just asking that question. Maybe someone can enlighten me. So essentially, what I'm just saying is here is like 50 Cent, you conducted yourself in a very goofy manner. We should be talking about Irv Gotti with the likes of Quincy Jones. We should be talking about Irv Gotti and the likes of Clive Davis. We should be talking about Irv Gotti and the likes of Barry Gordy. These are the names that we should be mentioning Irv Gotti with. The man was a trendsetter. The man changed New York hip hop forever. He is responsible for DMX. He's responsible for helping and assisting in the career of Jay-Z. Murder Inc. and I already talked about the whole Murder Inc. situation. Let's just some FBA Hustle says Snitchy Cent. Yeah, man, because he's been spending his whole life trying to discredit the career of Ja Rule and Murder Inc. I mean, I talked about it a little bit. When it comes to Ja Rule and Murder Inc. and Irv Gotti, what they were able to do will never be duplicated. Let's be real here. When we talk about Murder Inc. And I talked about this earlier, but I'm gonna say it again. Let's be real about Murder Inc. Right? Murder Inc. gave hip hop the codes on how to commercialize hip hop. They gave hip hop the codes. When you go back and you look at Ja Rule's run, he gave people the codes on how to commercialize this thing, how to make this thing go into the next audiences, how to take these hip hop songs and take them out of the hip hop clubs, take them out of the projects, take them out of the ghettos, and take them across middle America. Irv Gotti and Ja Rule showed hip hop the codes to success, how to make hip hop bigger than what it was, take it to heights we've never seen. Ja Rule, Murder Inc., they were responsible for that. And let's be real, and let's be real here. Because 50 Cent went, and I hate that we got to keep going back to 50 Cent, but even 50 Cent duplicated what Murder Inc. did. When 50 Cent got into the game, everybody thought that he was just gonna be just gangster, ragamuffin. He ain't gonna do no songs about women like Ja Rule. Next thing you know, 21 Questions. Next thing you know, Smile. Next thing you know, Best Friend. He emulated the same thing Ja Rule was doing. The same melodies, the same hooks. If we gonna be honest, 50 Cent stole from the formula that Murder Inc. created. They created the hooks. They created the melodies. They created the off singing from a deep, masculine male voice. They created that. 50 Cent got in the game emulating that. You got to think it was only two artists at that time that were implementing. And of course I'm not taking anything away from Bone Thugs and Harmony, because they implemented melodies in their music as well. But at that point in time, it was only Nelly and Ja Rule that were implementing the melody. And then, of course, when you look at hip hop today, when you look at the Drakes, when you look at the Kendrick Lamars, the Little Uzi Verts, the Playboy Cardis, the Tory Lanez, and where we are at today when it comes to having melodies in hip hop music, Murder Inc. was trendsetters. They created the blueprint to what hip hop was to be. So we have to pay some respects, man. And like I said, they gave hip hop the formula, man. They gave hip hop the formula to success, the formula to take this thing to heights we've never seen. And Irv Gotti deserves the respect he deserves, man. He like I said, he should be mentioned with the Berry Gordys. He should be mentioned with the Clive Davises. He should be mentioned with the Jimmy Iovines. He should be mentioned with those names. He changed the course and the sound of New York hip hop and what it was, man. So rest in peace to Irv Gotti, man. Let me see if I can play this video where he talks about DMX because I like watching this when he talks about DMX. This is a short version. Let's play this.
Jay would be like, you think he's better than me? Jay would be like, you think he's better than me? How I got to Def Jam was because of Ja, really, because Leo wanted to sign Ja. The first meeting I ever had, I was like, we got to sign DMX, and they laughed at me.
The first meeting that he had was to sign DMX. This man discovered DMX. Assisted in the career of Jay-Z, assisted in the career of Ja Rule. But, you know, you're going to have 50 out here and a bunch of clowns on his comment page laughing and disrespecting, denigrating this man. This man deserves the utmost respect.
I remember when I left the office, Tina Davis said, she knew what I wanted to sign DMX. She said, if DMX don't sell, your ass is fired. Jay and Dame did not believe in DMX. Jay would be like, you think he's better than me? And I'd be like, he's nice just like you. I said, if you look in the hood, there's less of like you and more like him. Yeah, but he don't want to live that. He's depressing, Gotti. And I said, I don't give a f. So Jay used to watch me grind with X, and he was off with the Hitman. And then something strange happened when I made Get At Me Dog. If you remember at the beginning of the video, it's the heartbeats, doom, doom. DMX, doom, doom. Live at the tunnel. Y'all don't even remember the tunnel. Funk Massive was doom, doom. And then I put that sound bite. Let's take it back to the streets, mother. Doom, doom. The video's flashing, f***ing up your eyes. It caused change. And now, there was no more shiny suits. We back to the hood, and X is the leader of this revolution. I used to put on the wall a triangle with 5. And they was like, they used to clown me. And they used to be like, who's gonna buy his records, Gotti? Chihuahuas, he's barking. No one wants to hear that bullshit. And I'd be like, yeah. Sold 5. It was no more writing on the walls. It was, y'all can get behind me. I used to tell Leo in the midst of the whole staff, and I would tell him, yo, shut the f up, yo. I said, you work better when you shut up and get behind me. Now this is what we doing. And he would shut up. He would shut the f up.
Rest in peace to Irv Gotti, man. A hip-hop legend. Hip-hop pioneer. Yeah, man, but it's sad and it's misfortunate. Condolences to his family. Yeah, man. Let me see what y'all talking about in there. FBA Hustle calls 50 Cent Snitchy Cent. Sinclair says hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That's a fact. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, man, but it's real, man. You know, rest in peace to Irv. Prioritize your health, everyone. Prioritize your health. Your health is important. And yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. Black men, take care of yourselves, man. Get your health together, man. Let me see something. Did I miss anything? No. Did I miss anything? Anything else that I should bring up to light, bring up to talk? You know, we talked about. I don't want to make this all about 50 Cent. Now, that's why I spent majority of the time talking about Irv. I don't want to make this about 50 Cent, but I had to address the whole 50 Cent situation because 50 Cent. I mean, I just felt like what he said was very distasteful. This should be a time for hip hop to acknowledge the achievements, the success, the pioneering things that Irv Gotti has done, the great things he has done for hip hop. We should not be wasting time with 50 Cent trolling and the nonsense. We should be sending condolences to Irv's family and remembering him for the great things he's done. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I just want to do a show giving a tribute to Irv Gotti and a hip-hop pioneer. But with that being said, you guys have a good night. You guys get some rest. Hope you guys have a productive week. And see you guys on another live. Y'all have a good night, man. We out. Toodles, y'all.
Reppin' the road, foreign got it on my name and they toes. These studies announce me.